One simple habit that helps business owners give better feedback consistently is to remember that being straightforward is also kind. So to actually give them exactly what went wrong or what feedback you want to give them, and give it to them straightforward. Hi, I'm Gerda from Express Virtual Assistants, and today we are talking about how to give feedback to your VA without micromanaging. I think some business owners struggle to give feedback without micromanaging because they struggle to delegate, or they think that maybe the VA doesn't understand exactly what they need. And I think that's where communication comes in, and trusting that the VA has the skills necessary to be able to do the task that they need. Now, I know this can be difficult, but I don't think feedback is the enemy. I think feedback is a good thing. I think maybe just space it out, maybe do once a week feedback, or after a task and there is something that you needed that should change. Don't be afraid to do that. But I think, micromanaging and talking to the VA every day is just making the whole situation more stressful. And I think that could actually be bad for the task at hand. The difference between helpful feedback and controlling behavior is just the stress and the anxiety that controlling behavior causes. No one works well or better in a stressful environment than they do in a helpful environment where they get the support and the feedback that they need to make changes, but they still feel like they are in charge of what they are doing. Any situation where you feel like you're being controlled will eventually come out in the outcomes of the task that was done, and it might actually make it take a lot longer than just having helpful feedback that focuses on the outcome and that is good and ongoing, but not controlling. So how you can give clear feedback without overwhelming your VA is firstly to focus on the outcome. Don't focus on the person or, how she is doing something, but focus on the outcome that you want. What is the task at hand, and what do you want it to look like by the end of your relationship with the virtual assistant? And do it ongoing, but maybe do it in a structured manner where you have a feedback meeting each week, so that is when she knows that she will get some feedback from you, and she can make notes around that. I think the best thing as well is to treat your VA like a partner. Tell her why you need it like this. Share the why behind it, and there will already be a better understanding as to what the outcome should be. So you might be wondering how often feedback should be given to keep the work on track. Now, this obviously depends on the actual work and the situation that is happening. But I think a good rule of thumb is to do a weekly or a bi-weekly meeting, or even just a call over the phone where the feedback is given, so that it doesn't intrude with the actual working hours of the EVA, where she is sitting and starting to do the work, and then there's a lot of WhatsApps or calls that comes through, and it's keeping her from actually being productive. And I think respectful feedback is very important, because it just helps build confidence for the virtual assistants, and it helps them to take initiative where they feel like they can take initiative on the task at hand. So I wouldn't say don't do feedback randomly every time you talk to them, give them something that you just thought of, but rather have a few actual sessions that are planned where you have written down everything that you want to give through, and then do it in such a way. The best way to handle mistakes while still building trust with your virtual assistant is to have respectful communication and have a channel where this is communicated. For example, none of us like receiving 10 WhatsApps about everything that went wrong and that's not right. That can actually break down the virtual assistant's confidence and make it seem like you're just noting everything that's wrong. I think a good way is to also say what you did like about the task that they completed, and then go through what could be changed or what mistakes were made, but do it in a respectful way, and do it in a way that there is communication, and in a situation where she can also ask questions back about what exactly the mistakes were and how she can make it better. So I would also, for this, recommend doing a quick call or a meeting where there is open conversation and communication. Feedback can help a virtual assistant improve without lowering their confidence when it is respectful and when they understand the whole situation. So this comes back to working with your VA as if they are a partner in your business. Try to explain the bigger picture to them and why something should look like that and not that. Explain why the outcome should look like this. And they will be able to actually take initiative as well to get it to that specific outcome that you want, and that will actually help build confidence. So giving feedback to them in the sense of having them as a partner and not just someone who is quickly doing a task for you that you're not going to work with again, but to inform them of exactly what it is you want and why you want it like that. One simple habit that helps business owners give better feedback consistently is to remember that being straightforward is also kind. So to actually give them exactly what went wrong or what feedback you want to give them, and give it to them straightforward. Don't try to, beat around the bush, because then they exactly understand what they have to do and what they have to improve or change, without them feeling like they or misunderstanding you, or there's complications with the communication. So I think don't be afraid to be straightforward, but just do it respectfully. And yeah, as I mentioned, maybe have a habit of actually checking in once a day or twice a week or once a week, depending on the situation, but build that into your calendar where you have a specific feedback meeting or chat. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. There is a blog with more info linked in the description below.